Okay, Beshem Hashem Naseh V'Natzliach. Today we're having another limud in downtown. Thank you so much for the hosts. Okay, in Parashat Tzaveh we learn about different clothings of a Kohen Gadol. Kohen Hediot had 4 types of clothings. Kohen Gadol had 8 types of clothings. And our rabbis teach us that each one of the clothings of Kohen Gadol did certain kapara, did certain atonement for the sins of Am Yisrael. So our rabbis teach us this whole concept of beged, clothing, is not something that you just wear it and doesn't make a difference what you're wearing. In fact, the way that a person clothes himself, that has an influence to his neshama. Every morning in Shacharit, in Bikat HaShachar, there is a blessing among the Bikat HaShachar that we say, that we thank Hashem for giving us clothing. Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Malbish Arumim. Haghadosh Baruch Hu clothes the nakeds, those who have no clothing. So the question is, what is this referring to? Hashem clothes us? Hashem gives us the clothing. We make it. But obviously, all the blessings is from Hashem. And some rabbis teach us, according to some opinions, this blessing is recited right after a person wears his clothing in the morning. In the older days, they would not wear clothing. When they would go to sleep, they would take off. They would go under the sheets, whatever they had, and they didn't have the pajamas like we have these days. So in the morning, when they would wear their clothing, they would have this blessing. They would say it with bracha. So according to Zohar Haghadosh, it's much deeper than this. It's not just your physical clothing. There is a spiritual clothing that every person has. That spiritual clothing is made by Hashem through your mitzvot. The more a person works on his mitzvot, right, doing the mitzvot with simcha, doing it with ahava, with love to Hashem, for the sake of Hashem, lishma, the better and the brighter are the material that are used in the clothing which we have in Shamayim, which are the bright clothing, bright looking, good material, good spiritual material. Right? Now this goes so much that there are certain individuals that unfortunately, due to their lack of Torah and mitzvot and Shabbat observance and so many other factors, they would not be zohar, they would not have the merit to have that clothing, and they would be like nakeds. What a bizayon, what a khajalat, what a disgrace, and these people, what a bad feeling they get. Right? They are embarrassed every second that neshama goes in Shamayim, and each night neshama at certain time around Chasot, whether a person is sleeping or not sleeping, according to some opinions, the neshama departs, whether sleeping or not sleeping, departs, goes to Shamayim, signs all his deeds in the Bedin Shel Ma'ala and comes back. So in front of the Bedin Shel Ma'ala, the heavenly court, there could be many tzaddikim there. There could be one's parents, grandparents, beloved ones who are not here in this world, this physical world anymore. And this person, if he is not having that zechut, he might be naked, going there naked. So what Hashem does with his chesed and rachamim, Hashem clothes this person, this neshama. So this comes to remind us that which the Torah goes on to explain, all these different clothings of Kohen Gadol, tzitz, choshen, right, all these different varieties, even the shape of the hat of Kohen Gadol was different than Kohen Hediot. Why is that? Because every person needs to wear clothing according to his madrega, according to his level. Harav Eliyahu Netanyahu Shalita mentioned this past Shabbat, according to Gemara, right? If a Talmid Chacham has a stain on his clothing, that is the stain of charbi, right? Food's fat, right? Choresh, whatever he had, and comes on the shirt, right? He could make himself chayav, right? Some sort of a very, bad judgment. If I remember correctly, he could become chayav mita. Why? A death sentence. Why? Because he is a Talmid Chacham. He represents Hashem, and he goes with a clothing that is not presentable. People say, look at him. He is a rabbi. Look at his clothing. It's so cheap. Right? He has no respect for himself. He has no respect for Hashem. People look at him and they say, we don't want Judaism. Right? If this is Judaism, we don't want it. Right? So therefore, a person needs to be very careful about not only his deeds, because his deeds will make a spiritual clothing, also the way that he dresses. Right? And we among our circle, Baruch Hashem, we always try to dress in a respectful way. Some men, they dress pants that are very sticky, asur, right? Because it shows everything, right? And some, they wear the clothing that is not for men, right? It's woman clothing. It's very rare. One needs to stick. Even on Purim is coming up. Even on Purim, it is prohibited, it's asur, to wear the clothing of ladies. Right? Some people, they wanna make themselves cool, look cool. Right? They wear their wife's shaitel. Right? Asura. Right? Or I've seen skirt. Coming to synagogue while they're reading Megillah with a funny clothing, that's not the right thing to do. Right? Well, if somebody wants to wear something, okay, at the Seudah, not something this degrading, something according to the level of a person. That's beside the fact that on Purim, a person needs to wear his big day Yom Tov, because it's like Yom Tov, it's the clothing of Yom Tov. So the lesson is a very profound one, and we see that clothing makes a big difference. It's a famous story that when Shaul HaMelech was after David HaMelech to kill him, right? Because Shaul HaMelech thought that David HaMelech is more than Manchut, and Shaul HaMelech thought that David was after him. So at one point, when Shaul HaMelech was after David HaMelech, Shaul went to cave, and David HaMelech came, found Shaul HaMelech taking a nap, and in order to show that I have nothing against you, and I had the opportunity to kill you, but I didn't kill you, he tore a piece of clothing of Shaul HaMelech, and later he showed him, look, I was right there, I could have killed you, I didn't kill you. See, I don't want to harm you. So our rabbis teach us, because of this, thank you so much, because of this, David HaMelech, towards his end of life, he would not become warm at nights, whatever clothing. Why? Because he brought disgrace, he brought bikavodi, right? He brought the kavod of clothing down, disrespected it. So a person sees clothing on the floor, should pick it up. Person goes to mikveh, right? You see these wonderful, towels. They put it on the floor. If there is a towel for the floor, that's understandable. But the towel that you, dry yourself, you put it and you kick it, that's not the right thing. So Be'ezrat Hashem should help us that we take these opportunities that we have, respect what Hashem has given us, wear respectful clothing, right? and work on our Torah and Mitzvot, that we prepare our eternal clothing. That's eternal clothing. And through this, will be not only we respect Hashem, we respect ourselves, and we be respected by others. You want to be respected, you need to dress respectfully. You need to find yourself according to the ways that Torah tells you. And that is another thing that made our nation, Am Israel, Bnei Israel, separate from the Goyim, right? In Egypt, all over the world, always having special clothing that shows you are different. You are Mamlechet Kohanim Vegoy Haghadosh. You are the chosen one. So you need to dress differently. And Be'ezrat Hashem, this Zechut, Hashem will help us that we be united with Achdut, we be among ourselves. Intermarriage and so many assimilation, so many other problems will go away just with wearing respectful Yehudi clothing. Be'ezrat Hashem.